In today's video, we're exploring a few neat ideas, like how can a circle improve your tempering? Why are lasers on infrared thermometers basically fake news? But before we get into any of that, and because we're talking about laser pointers, we're legally obligated to spend 15 seconds enjoying cats chasing lasers. Set the timer. Welcome to how to use an infrared thermometer correctly. What is infrared? Well, infrared is, it's radiation. Yeah, radiation. Radiation is being emitted off every single thing in the universe that isn't at absolute zero. Things like your grandma, your TV, your cat, that pizza you ate last night. Even the alchemist emits infrared radiation. All of it. Everything that moves in the universe is actively emitting infrared radiation. 49% of the Earth's heat comes from that big infrared toaster in the sky, our sun. It's okay though. It's not the Chernobyl type of radiation. It's safe, obviously, as everything around you, including you, is emitting it and we keep on existing. Conceptually though, it might be easier to think of it as waves of light that you just can't see. That's close to a scientific truth, but it's not exactly true. The reason that it matters you understand this concept is there's an idea called emissivity, and you need to understand emissivity in order to use your infrared thermometer correctly. It's basically how much infrared radiation an article or object will emit. Not all subjects emit radiation equally. For instance, the bowl you have your chocolate in right now. What is it made of? Does it reflect light? If so, you need to keep this one concept in mind, and that's that reflective or shiny or mirrored surfaces emit substantially less infrared radiation than other materials. Shiny equals less radiation. That's going to affect your temperature reading. This is important because it changes how you use your thermometer. Understanding this means even if you get a tiny bit of a reading from the bowl as well as your chocolate, you can dramatically misread the temperature without realizing why. Then your temper fails and you think the universe is conspiring to ruin your life. It's not. The universe does not care about you or your chocolate. Let's get real about lasers. Many an unsuspecting maker are surprised to discover that the laser doesn't actually play any role whatsoever in taking a reading. The idea people have is that the laser goes out and perhaps somehow bounces back with a reading based on changes that have happened on contact. Nope, it just goes out and says, hey, this is where the middle of stuff is. The actual reading by the infrared sensor is, on the other hand, happening much like you might expect a camera to work. You push the button and open the sensor to the world. Because of physics, what is actually happening is the sensor is reading something like a cone shape on that wide end. Depending how you hold the thermometer, it's roughly a circle. Physics informs us if we tilt our gun even a tiny bit on an angle, our cone opening will deform into an elliptical shape. Trying to accurately measure something, it quickly becomes a disaster. And here's why. You're pointing your gun at a bowl of chocolate and getting a nice reading. Perfect. You're nice and close, so you're being careful to get only the chocolate, but then your metacarpal tunnel syndrome kicks in and your feeble wrist angles ever so slightly. Now what is the thermometer seeing? That elliptical shape means more room for things, not chocolate, to get into your reading. Things like shiny, low emissive bowls. This isn't rocket science, so there's no point in belaboring it. Just keep in mind, straight on is good, angled is bad. Close and straight, that's the way you want it. You may not always get a perfect reading, but keeping this little bit of practical knowledge about how your tool works will ensure that if you do get a strange reading, you probably won't trust it. And you probably will have an idea why. Okay, go make some chocolate. Also, If you want to see how badly we do at maintaining our Instagram, please give us a follow. Lastly, with the cooling temperatures of fall coming in, cocoa butter silk is back in stock. If you don't know why you'd want cocoa butter silk, check out the video on screen.